for the LinkedIn portion of this social media webinar training series. Okay, so guys, LinkedIn, really quickly, we're not going to go over it again. This is not a beginner's webinar, but I will point out to you briefly that LinkedIn is one of the social media sites that's really great for making connections for more of the professional population. However, I will warn you, LinkedIn and Facebook, they don't really like one another. Not really sure about the history of it. I mean, it just really just calls for speculation. But I just want to share with you guys that a lot of things you're starting to see now, like being able to create a LinkedIn event and being able to create a, not just a company page. A lot of things LinkedIn are doing that makes business sense, they're doing it on their platform now. So not only can you have an actual LinkedIn business page, but you can also have your LinkedIn personal profile as well, and you can actually keep the two separate. Make sure all the employees are set up on the same one, which is very important because every single employee that you have attached to the corporate company LinkedIn page, it just makes it that much easier to find your products or services. If you're a large corporation, or if you're not a huge corporation, but you still have around 10 to 15 employees, it's really good because now you have other people that are sharing a bunch of different things. So having said that, LinkedIn is really a what is the word that I'm looking for? It's really more of a social networking component that's really more of a business networking feel. It's not like Facebook where people are putting pictures of their cats and stuff like that up here on, on LinkedIn, unless they own an actual, animal hospital, then maybe that would be something that's appropriate. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a few different things here within LinkedIn that I think is vitally important for you. So making connections on LinkedIn is pretty simple. Everybody knows you can just search for somebody and make a connection, right? But how do you find someone, and how do you distribute, not necessarily distribute, but how do you find someone and basically figure out if they're the kind of person that you're looking for? For example, most of us here, there are other functions about LinkedIn, like how do you go and find connections and find a job, and we're not really going to talk about that per se on this webinar, because this webinar is really about how to use your social media, your LinkedIn profile. So we'll use myself as an example, okay? I do a lot of social media training. Okay, so I want to find a small business. Maybe I need to use LinkedIn, and you guys want to jot this down. You want to also use LinkedIn to find your strategic partners, meaning you're a referral source. Not just someone that you can just go find, hey, and sell them all your products and services, but someone that you can say, hey, you know what? Who do you know? This is called the WDYK. Which is just something that I just made up on the fly because I thought I was going to spell something cool, and as it turns out, it didn't spell anything that remotely remembers that's going to help you remember it all. So basically, it's the who do you know, reach out. For example, myself, I would probably look for maybe someone in the marketing department. So if I were to look for that, obviously I can come up here in the search bar, and I can just type in marketing. Okay. Now, you notice it'll start bringing up all of these different people. It'll bring up my connections first. Then it'll bring up companies, it'll bring up groups and universities. You can decide what order you want to see or what's coming up, or different pages or whatever you want to find in the order that you want to do this. You can do this here as it says by people, by someone's job, by company, by group, university. Again, something may have come up in an article, or basically by the messages that you have. Maybe someone sent you a message and you're like, you know what? I got a message from someone the other day that was in a marketing company. Let me check inbox, and then I'll search my inbox and see who did that, who sent me a message in my inbox. And you see, immediately it takes you right to your inbox for anything that has something to do with marketing. Now I'm in my inbox searching. Again, you can just go directly to that. Somebody say New York Orlando. Here's one from Stanley Greaves, Tony Crabtree, Shelly Andrews, various different ones here. So let's go back here. Let's go back to all. We'll go back to home. And an important feature too, as far as your LinkedIn profile, so make sure it's up to date. This is really literally your online resume. Because when someone gets a message from you and they don't know you, the first thing they're going to do is do what? Absolutely. They're going to look at your profile and see who you are. So just for giggles, we'll look at mine. Okay, we'll say, okay, here's mine. Then it's over here to the right. It's going to talk about people that I may know. And some of these people, I may know them, I may not care to know them, and you don't necessarily have to. But guess what? I don't know this guy, Dale Cornelius. You know what? He's a real estate agent at Exit Realty. I can just try to connect with him. It'll ask me here. If I want to invite Dale to connect with me, some people have theirs set up pretty secure. What I found is when you're in here, you're trying to connect with someone, you always want to choose friend. Even if you're not their friend, you always want to choose friend. And then click send the invitation. Once you do that, if you click any of the other ones, and I'll show you what'll happen, you'll never know. And then once you do that, you're going to actually get this one here that basically says, you know, hey, what is this? What's going on? And how do I know other people here? How can I connect with more people? Everything about social media is about connecting, and I'll tell you why. What you actually put on a social media platform, like a post or a comment or tagging someone or a picture or anything like that, guess what? That is actually the content. So that's the social media or the medium that you're choosing to interact on. The conversation that you're having, the back and forth, the texting, or excuse me, the messaging feature, depending on your platform. Here is the inbox for LinkedIn. You know, that's kind of cool, I guess, but not really. It's just the in messages. So when you're trying to connect with people here, that's the actual social networking, and that's where rubber meets the road, because I'll say this each and every week. You have to remember that content is king. You got to have good content. You got to make sure that your profile is filled out. You got to make sure that you're adding value. Or else, why would somebody follow you? Why would someone want to connect with you? Why would someone allow you to invade their space, their networking space? And that's simply because they like what they see. Okay, in social media, it works a little bit differently. As far as the know, like, and trust factor, when you have the know, like, and trust factor, you're looking at a situation where if someone likes something, then they may want to find out who you are by trying to get to know you. And then if they know you after liking you, then they'll trust you. It's just a little bit backward. The formula is still the same, but when it's not in person, it's just a little bit different. So now I'm going to come back here to my profile. I'm going to go back home on my home profile, and I see all the other people that I may know that I can connect with. And you know what? That's great. So let's take a look at the profile. Now, you can obviously see who viewed your profile based on different things here. Looking at my profile, you can see that I have my link here. Make sure that you guys go in your settings and make sure that you have actually you don't just have www.linkedin, and I'll blow this up here for you guys a little bit. Make sure you guys just don't have www.linkedin and a whole bunch of crazy looking characters behind it or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you have all of those different things in there, because it makes it very easy. Mine is www.linkedin.com/Mr. Tony Tate. There's mine. And if somebody wants my contact info, if we're connected, they can go here. They can see my contact info and where I'm connected. And you can close it the same way. You want to get to about 500 connections as far as you can. I have well over 2,000. I don't know, maybe 2,000, 2,400 or something like that. I don't know. I have to go down here and actually look to see the exact number of connections that I have. Let's see. I'll click here. Different groups. It took me right down there too, I believe. Yeah. So and it tells you how many new connections you have. New connection within a week or a month or whatever you want to have. But you can actually hit next here. You can see more and more and more. You can search for them. It'll have you search for them. But the biggest thing, and you'll only be able to see that for other folks. I would say that getting recommendations are very key. Make sure you have a few here. You don't want to. One thing that I hate, and most people hate because they think it kind of waters down the effectiveness of what they really can believe or see on LinkedIn, is absolutely these right up here. All of your different endorsements. You know, In a lot of categories, I have, over 100 in each one, 99 plus, 99 plus, 99 plus, just different things that you may have for things that I've done. And then also some other things that I may not have gotten as many endorsements for, but things that I can absolutely, do. Now, you're not going to see if someone's marital status or what their birthday is. We're looking at this and you're seeing this because this is actually my profile. So I'm looking at my own profile. Organizations that you may be a part of. Again, we're back to the recommendations. It's always good if you have these. They're dated. So someone may say, wow, this guy hadn't had a recommendation over a year, and that's okay. They may ask for more. They want to say, do you have a more recent one or more up-to-date one? Most people use these, and then you have the people that you're following. You know what your profile looks like. So let's say we're going to look at the profile, or exactly who's viewed your profile. Why do you want to know who viewed your profile? Obviously, you want to know if you're marketing to the masses, if the right people are looking at your message. You can always upgrade to this. And there's different things that you can do to get, update, different views and different reporting on it. LinkedIn has its own feature. Yes, you can use a tool like Hootsuite that we talked about last week that will actually do that. But what you want to do, for the most part, is you want to make sure that you're maximizing your connections you have. You want to respond to a message. You want to go inside of your inbox and you want to clean out a bunch of junk. So then that way, when you're trying to look at what different people are saying or doing, you can kind of easily find it. You really want to keep your inbox pretty clear. And you don't want to fire hose. Most of us know fire hosing simply means posting a whole bunch of stuff on LinkedIn rapidly, like, 4 or 5 posts in an hour. That's way too excessive. That's even excessive for Facebook. You want to probably have maybe 1 or 2 posts a day if you have an article or blog post that you've written, or if you wanted to see if someone will try to help you, staff your location, or maybe you're looking to help someone staff their location. You want to really use this as a connecting tool. We have a few of you. One second, Jamie. I'll get your question in a second. We have a few of you here that will actually reach out to other people and be that linchpin. So when you're looking at the different ways that you can use LinkedIn, you want to make sure that your communications not only don't confuse you, but don't confuse other people. And at the bottom, it's always good to see here, it says, there's 94 people that have viewed my particular profile in the last 9 days. So that's over a person a day. And I mean, that's okay. It's probably middle of the road. I mean, I'm not setting any records or anything like that. Just kind of doing what I need to do to, make sure that people know that I'm still alive and that I'm not dead. Contacts, when you're looking at your network, the biggest thing that you want to know about your contacts here, or how, as far as your contacts, as this thing is popping up here, you want to, part of your networking here, and is what we're going to talk about, is when someone has a new job, then guess what? You want to congratulate them. And this will remind you, hey, Bob has got a new promotion here. You want to say, hey, Bob, congratulations on your promotion. That opens up the door for anyone that you may be following. Does that make any sense? Sherry just asked, do we want to follow everybody? No, Sherry, you don't want to follow anybody because you're not blind marketing. You want to try to make sure that you're connected to as many people as possible, but you don't want to follow everyone. Okay? You don't want to follow everyone. You want to follow only those that have the actual, you want to follow those that have the actual pieces that you need to connect with. Remember, you're talking about strategic partners, so everybody on LinkedIn is probably not going to be a direct customer if you're selling an end product. Remember, this is not like a Facebook where you can put on here, hey, if somebody buys a bag of shake mix from me, I'll give you a free blender. You don't want to do anything stupid like that on LinkedIn because you'll be shunned quicker than, a prostitute in church. I'm telling you, you don't want to do that. You definitely don't want to do that. Not that prostitutes should be shunned in church because obviously God loves everybody. So we're going to move right along after that. And again here, once you congratulate people, once you've said anything to someone, you can, I'm just going to go ahead and skip a lot of these here. Most of these people, I've already told them what I thought about them to their face. Not that it was a bad thing, but that for the most part, there's that. So, all right. So in your contacts, what else did you know? in your contacts. That's probably about it. You want to make sure that you have that situation. You want to make sure that you're networking. So if you want to figure out what to do, so when you're putting out, okay, here's my checklist. What should I be doing on a daily basis or the days that I'm working on LinkedIn? Because the biggest thing about social media, it will suck you in. It is a huge time suck. If you don't have a to-do list that you stick to rigidly, you will find yourself lost. You may end up reading about somebody's promotion. Hopefully it wasn't a promotion that you were also going over, because then now you're trying to figure out a way to kind of eat crow and say, and say nice things. But for the most part, you want to get in and get out. That's the thing with this and every social media platform you do. You just want to get in and you want to get out. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go in. You want to first log in. We'll go back to my home page. First thing you want to do, number one, you'll come in. You go to your network. You go to your contacts. You may want to see, is there anybody that's done something that I may want to congratulate them on or for? Okay? That's it. Period. Now, obviously, you can sync this with different, things now, and LinkedIn is doing a really good job of making sure that people are connecting more or better or however, whatever word that however you want to look at it. But they're making sure that they're making other features, and it's changing all the time. That's why, be careful when you go to those places and you bought this set of CDs or DVDs on how to work on something and how to do something, and guess what? Now you're in a situation to where they've changed it, and now your how to do this and how to do that process has absolutely stopped. You have to relearn it a different way. All right. So now after you've done that, you with your contacts. Who do you need to connect with that day, or who are you looking for that day? Obviously, you can search for more up here. Now, adding connections. This is important. Your email, this is something that you should do whenever you're first setting up your account. Basically managing your imported contacts as well, whether you have like a CSV file or different kind of file where you can actually import someone into your connections. Apparently I have 3,763 contacts here, but the most important thing is you want to actually make sure that when you're adding people, to your contacts, whether you have a Gmail account or Outlook or Yahoo or Hotmail or AOL, I mean, it's crazy. There are people that I know that have like over 60,000, as in 60,000 connections on LinkedIn. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So you want to do that. And you're going to constantly get messages here from LinkedIn telling you where different things are. So now we're going to go look at interests. We'll look at interests here. Companies that you may want to follow. Here's a cool thing here. It gives you an opportunity over to the right when you go look at companies to create your company page. And again, there's a couple things that you want to look at, that you want to make sure that you have done when you have a company page. Cool thing about a company page is it has nothing to do with you. Okay, it has everything to do with the people that work for you. Here you see one where I have a person that does a lot of my one of my interns here. You can see that. And obviously, like any other service that's on social media, they'll sign you up for something where you can pay extra money for a lot of things. Unfortunately, it's moving this way, but if you're going to do that, you can actually create an ad. Guess what? Facebook does too. Google Plus does. They all do. Or you can sponsor an update. You can take an update that you have already created, and you can boost the post, is what it's called in Facebook, or boost that ad. That's another thing that is paid for. So here's where you can send these ads. Now, up here, they give you an opportunity to do a business account or your account, but all of them are usually tied to your login. You can manage whether you want to do a personal ad, not as trying to get a date process, but you want to do one from your personal profile, versus one from your company page. Now, share with your followers to drive engagement. These are pretty cool. They're pretty easy. The great thing about this is we're going to look at some analytics and then some different page insights. These things are pretty cool here. They let you know where your reach is, your engagement, the followers, whether someone is following you, your demographics, the trends. If someone is senior management, entry-level management, mid-level management, owner, or I don't even know what a CX is, but I'm going to call them a chief executive officer. Usually that's a CEO, but I think that's another abbreviation. If I'm wrong, somebody can text me and tell me that. I'm sure they will. And yes, I got about 4 chat messages telling me what it is, so I'm not even going to say it because they're trying to be smart pants. All right, and it'll tell you exactly what you're doing here and how you're doing it. Analytics are key because you want to always, like I said last week, you want to always be able to inspect what you expect. You want to know if your LinkedIn marketing efforts are working. Best way to do that is by taking a look at all of your metrics by using analytics. Now, there are other services here. These are services not from LinkedIn, but these are services that you have that you may want to do. You can come in here and you can actually say, okay, I want to request people recommend this particular webinar. Or you can share that. Bam. Says, hey, I'm sending you this to ask you for a brief recommendation of social media management, social media coaching, or social media maintenance that I can include on my business page. So basically, it kind of already pre-populates it to you. You can come up here. This is key. This is key. This is key. And just in case you didn't catch any of that, I'm going to say it again. This is key. This is a way that you can actually specifically ask for a recommendation, which is different than getting someone to endorse a skill. There is a big difference because here you don't want to send this blindly to someone. Like a lot of times you may notice when you get to LinkedIn, guess what? It's blind. You're getting all of these blind messages. You're going to get, wow, we're really ahead of time. We may end class early tonight. You get a lot of these blind messages from people that you don't even know. They haven't done anything for you, and yet all of a sudden it says, hey, please excuse the mass message. Will you endorse me? And you're thinking to yourself, man, the endorsements, they're kind of crappy, but the thing about it, you don't know whose endorsements are real and whose aren't, so guess what you ought to do? You need to collect as many of them as possible. Here, you're requesting a recommendation. The beautiful thing about requesting the recommendation is this. You have an opportunity here to really, really, really get someone to write a glowing proposal for you as far as what you've done, how you've done it, how you've instructed them. And admittedly, guys, with everything that we all have to do in a day, guess what? Sometimes we just forget to go back and take care of after the sale stuff. I can't stress this to you enough because I'm also guilty of it. If I'm completely transparent, there's probably about 40 or 50 really strong recommendations that I could probably go out there and get that I just haven't done it because we've all considered ourselves, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, and now I'm busy. I got to do this, I got to do that, and now I'm busy. I got to do this, and so on and so on and so on, and then you forget. The best time to do this is when you're following up. The fortune is in the follow-up. We say that a lot in direct sales. We say that in the home-based business and network marketing, but it's the same thing in everywhere else too. You meet someone at a networking event. You exchange business cards, and you say, hey, we'll call you next week. No worries. And then guess what happens? You absolutely forget to follow up with that person. Then now you almost kind of have to get them re-excited again and everything like that. So there we go. Just want to let you guys know. So before I go on, as far as the recommendations, if you have a question, because this is kind of key, if you have any questions, raise your hand. These are pretty quick, and I'll unmute you, and I'll let you go ahead and ask your question. Or if you're having microphone issues and you want to just send me the text message, I'll read it. Okay, Barbara just asked, is this the same thing where there's no such thing as bad press? Barbara, that statement could be further from the truth here with LinkedIn. I'm sorry to tell you that, sweetie. You don't want anything negative or bad on there, even controversial even. You want to have something that pretty much endorses it. This isn't like something that just kind of gives you a lot of attention and things like that. It's really something that will that will go from here to there to everywhere. So you just really, 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 really want to make sure that we've got everything that we need, that we have it, that we're doing what we want, how we want, and we just want to make sure of that. So, cool. 1 second here. We have Laura Lee Shapiro. Laura Lee. Are you there, Laura Lee? Your hand's raised, Laura Lee. I just didn't know if you were there. Okay, now your hand went back down. Okay. You don't have a question. All right. Okay. She's either gun shy or she forgot and she just wanted to wave at everybody. So everybody waved back at her. No, I'm just kidding. She can't see it. I'm the only one that can see the hands. Put your hands down. Put your hands down, guys. All right. Let's move right along, guys. Let's get back to the subject matter here. Okay. So everybody understands the analytics part, how to look at what you're doing and from the company page standpoint, how successful your company page is, what's going on with your company page, you know, how it needs to be looked at, and so forth. Okay, I guess she does have a question now. Laura Lee wants to know, should you use keywords in your profile to make you more searchable, like on a website? That is a good question. If your keywords don't have anything to do with what you do, your keywords should be more descriptive and not just try to get found. For example, your website may have keywords based on what you're looking for, okay, but not necessarily how someone can find you. For example, if you're trying to solve a problem, and let's say, I'll give you an exact example. That's a good question, Lily. If someone, let's say, if you own a car garage, okay, and you want to have and you're putting keywords in your website that says how to repair a broken down car, okay? Well, you don't want to have broken down in your company page if you're repairing cars, because if somebody's going to search on LinkedIn for broken down auto repair. They're going to search for auto repair. So that's just an example where you know, someone may ask what we like to call a long tail keyword phrase. Maybe they just ask a direct question into a Bing or into, you know, a Google or a Yahoo, and then they'll get a result based on the question that they ask. But your keywords or your words more or less should be there. And then inside your profile, there's a way where you can actually put an actual word that will actually link to your website. Like, for example, on mine, and I'll just go here and show you this real quick. On my profile, okay, we'll see here. If we say, how do I want to look at this so that way they have the most effectiveness? Tell you what, we'll look at it from this standpoint. We'll look at it from the edit profile standpoint. Okay. Here, if I go edit education, edit experience, and different things, this is basically my tagline, okay, my professional headline, and that's great. Now, what we're going to have here, if you have other, and here's some different documents that you guys can have. There's a few things I should probably put up here, but I haven't put it up here. So what we want to do is we want to actually come over to, let me go here. Okay, there's my name. We go to this right here. We want to click on this link. This is where I want to see. Okay. See right here where it says websites, author, speaker, coach. When you're inputting your websites and it's asking you about that, this is what people see that are just coming to www.linkedin.com/Tony Tate. It says author, speaker, coach, but when they click on that, what they're going to do is they're going to actually go to a website that I have that showcases that I'm an author, speaker, or coach right here, author, speaker, business coach. Okay. That's completely separate of how I'm listed there, but it's just other websites. Here, where it says social media trainer. They go there, then there you go. Now we're looking at annotatesolutions.com, a completely different website, and here's one that's talking about our service tonight where we can do that. So we'll close that out. Another one here says health and wellness coach. Again, we go here, you go to the site where it's basically set up for my direct sales company that talks about health, wellness, and beauty. It's that simple. They're different websites, but I'm not necessarily listening to websites. I've basically made author, speaker, coach a hyperlink, social media trainer, a hyperlink. So if we come back here, let's say we type in author. Author. You're going to see all these people here. that are connected. You're not going to find, I mean, obviously you can look for yourself, but here you have Arthur, the guy who authored Credit Warfare. You know, here's Arthur Faze, you know, J. Arthur, that's someone's name. So these are, they go by connections, then companies, then groups, then universities, authority. So there's a lot of different things that you have to be careful of whenever you're searching here for, or whenever you're searching for a lot of different things when it comes to LinkedIn. So there we go. All right. So I hope that answered your question. I know it was kind of a long-winded answer, but I really hope it answers your question. Lorelei, did it answer your question? She'll let me know here, I'm sure. Really, really quickly. All right. Let's move right along. Now, we were talking about, let me see here. Let's review my notes. Okay. We want to now talk, we talked about, you know, how to look at the different things as far as your business page is concerned. Let's talk a little bit about you as an individual professional. Okay. You want to also filter the things. As you see here, I'm going through my activity. This is what I see when I first hit my home page. I come in here, bam. Customer service, how one bad experience can ruin your business. If I don't want to see stuff like this, I can actually hide it by coming over here. You can hide Leslie from the updates. So guys, if you find that person that's what I like to call fire hosing, which means rapid posts within an hour, you can hide that person. I can go here and say, hey, here's Leslie. I can hide it. But all is not lost. I can undo it because, quite frankly, Leslie Whitaker is very, you know, she's pretty good at what she does as far as Reach Local. If you guys have never heard of Reach Local, definitely take a look at it. They help with all kinds of different things that are going on in your, you know, in your particular section here. Jennifer Holt, business law section of the Florida Bar. On the path to your success, productivity hacks. You know, here's something about a WOMTech luncheon, and I can definitely tell you right now that is something that I'm hiding and I'm not even looking back for. So every now and again, one will get through. And see, here Leslie's trying to inject a little bit of humor inside of LinkedIn to kind of maybe show that she's a little more personable, which is fine. Here she says, doing business without advertising is like winking at a girl in the dark. You know what you're doing, but no one else does. And she's extremely, you know, and that's right. And she has that edge, and she's great at what she does with as far as reaching people with different events and different locations. So not to really necessarily plug her because she's not on the webinar, and I don't make a dime for doing it. Just want to illustrate here, here's someone that's, you know, everything is not just rigid, you know, 10 key elements of a perfect investor pitch, you know, from Entrepreneur Media, or you can make crazy amounts of money with our exclusive team force measuring and flipping system. Yeah, see, this lady here, I don't want to hear from her. So I've basically done that. So, you know, I had to make sure that was stayed here. But you want to, it's like anything else, guys. Personally, I don't watch a lot of the local news because I try to filter what goes in my head and what goes out of my head. We want to make sure that you're doing the same thing in your day, because if you get caught up, guys, if you know somebody's always putting jokes on LinkedIn, and again, we're talking about LinkedIn today. I'm not talking about Facebook. I'm not talking about anything else except for what we're talking about this week, which is LinkedIn. That's different. Here's someone, payment processing, merchant services. Join our network of over 2,000 partners to add additional revenue to your client portfolio. See here, somebody paid for this. Remember earlier when we were talking about creating an ad, and you had an opportunity to create an ad for yourself, for a person. This person who's affiliated with, I guess, a company called Rapid Advance, they decided to create an ad. And I know, guys, I know what you're saying. God, is everything going to, what happened to just, you know, connecting? And, you know, unfortunately, social media is just where the people are. It's like anything else. You just kind of have to deal with it, you know. Decide what you want. As you can see, all these different companies that I have over here that I follow, like Social Media Examiner, because of what I like to do. Actually, I don't know how I unfollowed it. But Social Media Examiner is one that I like to follow because there's different things that come up about social media, and you always kind of want to be in the know. Then there's different groups. Now, let's talk about interacting in groups, how that differs on, I've got how many people on my network? 180. Okay, great. You want to talk about how to interact in networks. It's just, think of yourself when you're on LinkedIn, you're at a Chamber of Commerce event, or you're at a business networking event. You don't talk about anything that's not too crazy. You kind of stay within a few lines, maybe talk about here, maybe here, there, just a few different things within that. But you want to make sure that your conversation stays pretty light. So let's talk about groups now. Well, before we get into groups, does anybody understand, as far as the interaction or how things should be going or where they're going or any of those things? Go ahead and raise your hands now. Sean writes, one thing that he's found that has been successful is just keeping it very light and letting someone else do all of the talking. And right. And to get, yeah, exactly. That's a good point, Sean. Again, this is social networking. It's about connection. You are not going to be able to treat this like Facebook. Great point, Sean. Thanks. I should give you some money for bringing this up. LinkedIn, you want to get to the phone number and get them on the phone or get a meeting set up as soon as possible. You cannot build your business connections by being passive aggressive. Now, sending them inbox messages is one thing. Emailing them for different parameters, that's great, but you want to make sure that your phone numbers or their phone number is in your signature. This is where it differs from Facebook. With Facebook, it's just a message from you to another person, and hopefully you got the right one. Here, you know who they are. You know what they do. Most people are not going to put, where it asks for their job, works at Casa de Williams because she's a homemaker. You're not going to find someone's profile on LinkedIn. At least I haven't found anyone's profile since I've been on LinkedIn that says stay-at-home mommy or unemployed son on my mom's couch, Captain Mediocrity. You're not going to find those, CEO at Mediocrity, we stink. You're not going to find any of that on LinkedIn. So it's okay to pick up a phone. You get an email or a message from someone, pick up a phone. You feel like somebody's trying to give you a bunch of pictures and sell you a bunch of crap? Guess what, guys? The snake oil salespeople are on LinkedIn too. It's okay to block people on LinkedIn. It's not as involved as blocking somebody on Facebook where you got to know all these different things. Hey, you can do what LinkedIn, I guess I kind of refer to it as just close the door on their face, simply just by blocking them. You don't get asked a whole bunch of questions. I won't block anybody here for the sake of that, but a lot of these, again, guys, some of these things, if you have, here's your best friend right here. You see this? These notifications? It's going to let you know where everything is going on within your site. Also, your best friend here, Help Center. Get help. I cannot underestimate this. I have people that will call me and ask me for things. I've already told them, I've showed them, and I went over and I've asked them. I asked them these questions. Well, where are your notes? What have you done? Getting help in the help section is the absolute best way to go. If you can't find it in the help section, then you probably don't need to use it, or you probably can't do it wherever you are. It's a simple thing, but people would much rather pick up a phone and call or type out a huge email describing their problem instead of just searching for their problem. It's just that easy, guys. We want to make sure that we're doing that. So LinkedIn, some of the advanced features here, they're pretty cool. They're really advanced. People search. So someone really quick. Let's say the first person that can send me a scenario, the kind of person they want me to look for, we're going to look for them. So we'll wait here. Let's see who we have here. First person that can send that to me, we'll take a look at it and we'll pull them up. Not everybody at one time. Okay, we got 4 here. All right, human resources. Okay. Laura Lee, she said human resources. So let's say I want to look for somebody that's a human resource person. Let me see, human resources. And I want to try to find somebody that graduated from that graduated from University of Phoenix. Located in or near We're going to say Orlando, 50 miles of Orlando. And we're going to say this person used to work for Procter & Gamble. This is going to be funny if we actually find someone. Procter. And is it even Procter & Gamble anymore, or is it Procter something else? We'll just call him Procter Stevenson. All right, so we'll search. We didn't find anybody, and that's okay. That was a ridiculous, that was drilling down too far. So what we'll do is we'll actually come back here, and you can tell it where you want it to look, whether first connections, second connections, third connections, what have you. Your city, anywhere in the world, United States, over 1 million people with those different results, seniority level. With certain filters, you have to pay for it, but just want to make sure that you're doing what you can do as best as you can do it. And it'll give you, obviously, all the different things. And so you want to, this advanced search is really something that lets you drill down. It may help you actually find somebody that you were looking for. So let's see here. And it'll let you know if it's the first connection, somebody in a different group, what have you, or third and everyone else. Let's say in Orlando, let's say in the Orlando, Florida area, you're looking for someone who is an HR person right now or used to be one. All right, we found Deborah at the Florida Hospital Care, Amy W., Citra, Alicia, Tara. These are all ones for ADP, Airmark, big companies. So let's say if I had a health and wellness product and I wanted to go in and have, let's say my particular health and wellness product had a shake involved, okay? And I wanted to actually go in here and I want to contact every one of these HR directors to find out when I can have a health fair day, okay? I can connect with them. I can build a relationship with them, let them know what I'm doing. You don't have to beat around the bush as much as you might in a Facebook conversation as you would on LinkedIn. This is very, very, very different. You can pretty much get to the point here, but at the same time, excuse me, not the same thing, but at the same time, you still want to remember the skills, how to get somebody to like you in 90 seconds. I don't know if you guys have ever read that book, but it's a really good book, How to Get Someone to Like You in 90 Seconds. It's funny, I heard someone make a joke about, they ought to make a book to how to make someone keep liking you after the 90 seconds has expired. But, how to win friends and influence people, all of the skills that you would use to employ if you were at a business network event, use those, just kind of translate them to a technology standpoint. Not too much too fast. You don't want to copy and paste a huge message to someone that has website links and gigantic paragraphs. You know why? Because now you're fire hosing them. Now you're spamming them. It's that simple. So now let's see if there's one that I wanted to figure out here. Let's say if I wanted to find an attorney who did personal injury, also in the Orlando area, who's not connected to a first or second connection of mine. Let's tell you what, let's say they're in a group, but they're not in my first or second level of connection. We all know what that is, and if you don't know what that is, you can see me offline. I can explain that a little bit more to you. We can do a search. We have Gregory Jackson, Rick Stanley. Actually, I kind of know that guy, which is kind of odd. He goes by that name. He goes by the name That Damn Lawyer, which is pretty funny. But we have Fannie Nader. Oh, I didn't put it over here. That's what the deal was. Okay. We have all the different lawyers here who are personal injury attorneys. Now I'll say criminal. Now we'll go for a criminal attorney. We'll change it to criminal. And I promise, guys, I don't have any legal needs, but I just want to show you, because law is a pretty diverse one. Criminal. Now, the list changed except for Attorney Greg Jackson. He does a lot of different things. He and I have over 130 people that we're connected together. And the funny thing is, I have no idea who this guy is, other than just communicating with him via LinkedIn. And again, the list changed. So you want to make sure, guys, that you're doing a specific search. And there's nothing wrong with connecting people you don't know. This is not like Facebook where you send someone a friend request and they don't know you, and then you're saying, hey, how do I know you? You're not going to get that response on LinkedIn. I've never had someone ask me, how do they know me on LinkedIn? Not at all. Not any of my, I have well over 2,000 connections. Not a lot, but definitely more than 500. And no one's ever asked me, do I know you? No. They will look at my resume, because I have a completed profile online, and they will know where they know me, or they can probably figure out really quickly if there's someone that wants to strategically align with me so I can help them and they can help me achieve our professional goals. So before I talk about anything else, does anybody have any question here about doing an advanced search to specifically go out and target somebody to look within the build a relationship before we close the webinar out? All right, speak now, if forever hold your peace. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to wrap this webinar up by talking about one other thing here. We talked about industry, and now we're talking about jobs. Okay. You may have someone here, that you may want to look to fill a position for. You can go and you look for someone that has different things in their resume and their keywords and different things like that, or what have you. Different careers, different companies that you may want to follow. One of the things that I want to tell you about LinkedIn is you want to make sure that everything that you do is kind of on the up and up, and not from a integrity standpoint, but you don't want to try to befriend someone to turn right around and try to sell them something and act like you're in you act like you're in their name, or excuse me, not in their name, but you act like you're interested in their company's product or service when all you really want to do is sell them something. You can't do that. And if you've been guilty of that in the past on Facebook, this is not an area where you really want to do this. You have to think about this as an electronic version of you standing in front of somebody in your best business suit, your best business tie, your best business dress or outfit with your resume for the world to see. Because just like somebody can, people can still talk bad about you in groups. Obviously, you'd have to accept the recommendation or accept the referral that someone did, but someone could actually talk bad about you in groups, and if you start getting a bad reputation in the LinkedIn community, it's just not a good thing. So you're really kind of putting yourself in a really bad position when you do that. So before we go, guys, I want to know if does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about tonight's webinar, anything that you want cleared up as far as the reason why you want to do this. We don't go. We talk more about theory here. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the actual technical part of it. Obviously, you can go to the help to get it. But if you want to ask me a question on how to do something offline, you can definitely do it. But if you don't do anything, guys, take this away from LinkedIn tonight. It is a tool, and it takes the networking event and puts it online. It is the anti-Facebook. It is nothing like Facebook. You want to maintain your all levels of professionalism on here. I'm not saying I'll make a joke. Obviously, you saw an example of an acceptable joke because of what this person was talking about. She was talking about marketing, and you making a joke about marketing. That is always 100% easy. I mean, hey, it's an icebreaker. Remember those, the difference between a professional icebreaker versus a bad pickup line. You don't want to use a professional version of a bad pickup line when you're trying to build a networking group or community or reputation within LinkedIn, because there's some people that it's not even cool because of what they do. Some of them own a limo company, so obviously you want to get in contact with different people, but we don't need to know what goes on inside of those limos or what happens at a company's Christmas party or any of those things. We just need to know that you have a limo that you can provide for events and special occasions. So without that being said, I'll ask one more time, does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I will hang tight until the last person has gone. Okay, we have one hand here. Hold on one second. Yes, Laura Lee, are you there? Are you there, Laura Lee? You're unmuted.
Yeah, I sent it to you in a text.
Okay, all right, I'll read it. Okay. Is it considered spamming if you blast a private message to a bunch of contacts either to sell something or recruit? Yes. Is there a way to do it without being considered spam? Yes. The old-fashioned way. You look at their profile, you look at who they are, you curtail your message for them as an introductory thing. If you want to copy and paste a little bit in the middle, but make sure that your introductory paragraph and your closing remarks have something specific to do with that individual, their personal profile, or what have you. You don't start selling right away, okay? If you want to sell something or recruit someone, well, think of the movie Jerry Maguire. If Jerry Maguire, he wrote a brilliant memo, inspired somebody to leave her job to come follow him. But Jerry Maguire, he built relationships with people before he, told them what he wanted to do with them or for them, and he built relationships, and oftentimes he had to prove it before he actually got the sale. So I could talk a whole other hour on this, but I'll simply say this. If you want to contact a bunch of people to recruit them, I don't like the word recruit, so I'll tell you this. Let's get that out of the vocabulary. Let's use the word partner with. Okay? If you're looking to retail something to someone, wholesale something to someone, or partner with someone in any kind of business endeavor, there is a way to do that without being considered spam. It's just be genuine and be one-on-one. Just be genuine and be one-on-one, and you want to make sure that any message that you send is not a carbon copy message of someone else. You want to make it, you want to personalize each one. And I know it takes a long time. I get it. You can do that, or what you can do is you can ask them for you can just say, hey, listen, hey, Bob, we talked a little bit here. I wanted to know if I could have your permission to occasionally send you something, an email about specials that I may be having. What is the best email address that I can use to communicate to you some different sales or different, not say sales, but some different promotions that my company may be involved in? And maybe if not for you, that you'd be able to forward on this if you feel comfortable. They're going to say, you know what, I really don't want to do all of that. And say, that's okay, Bob, you know what, I respect that. But in case you do hear anything and you think I may be able to help somebody, please keep me in mind. Or they may just give it to you. But that's the best way, in my opinion, to partner with someone or try to retail someone with someone. You still have to build that connection, and it's okay getting on the phone and listen. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen to people twice as much as you should talk to them, and your life will be a lot easier. I try to get my sons to realize that. Sometimes it just doesn't happen because they always want to tell somebody why he's right, and it doesn't really matter because you can be right or you can be liked. It's up to you. You got to have you have to be humbled to crumbles if you want to think of it like that. So anyway, enough of the country colloquialisms, guys. I will definitely, at this time I'm going to stop the recording.